Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links action, and as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons have been popping off a lot recently. They are currently the second best deck on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links Meta, or DuelLinksMeta.com, whatever it's called. Anyway, the reason for that is because there have been a lot of OTK decks, one-turn kill decks, things that kill you very quickly, and kind of don't really have much else going for them. And Thunder Dragons does really, really well against those decks because of the fact that it can recur a lot of resources and just kind of outgrind the opponent while also having incredibly strong board-breaking plays. So let's quickly talk about the list that I am running. There are definitely other ways to play. There are other skills to use. There are other cards to utilize. If you want to utilize another older card, there's one called Trifortress Ops, which is from Galactic Origins, and it's an insanely good card. Just look into it. It's really useful. But we're going to do quickly a rundown of the deck list. So first of all, the skill that I am using is Alerted by Darkness. I believe that this is the best one because it basically gets you a draw 2 after taking 1800. And with this deck, instead of utilizing something like Destiny Draw, which allows you to get any one card, this card just gets you more cards. And overall, I feel like this deck doesn't need a specific card or even like 2 specific cards, but it just needs multiple cards to really be able to utilize a lot of its strengths. And so Alert by Darkness fulfills that by allowing you to draw 2, and then you can also banish a dark, which could then get you other effects, right? Anyway, quickly doing the card by card, we all know what Levianeer does. If you don't, read it. Here you go. There you go. Read it. Thunder Dragon Hawk allows you to special summon it while also allowing you to return cards to the hand to draw cards by utilizing its discard effect for the first one and then utilizing its secondary condition, which is if it's banished or sent to the graveyard, from the field to the graveyard. And all of these 3 Thunder Dragons have similar conditions. You can discard for their first effect, and then their second effect is if they are sent from the field to the grave or banished. So Dark's first effect is discard it at quick effect speed in order to add another one from deck to hand. That's why we're playing 3. It's really useful. And then if it's banished, you get to search a card. DD Crow, pretty self-explanatory. Banish something from the graveyard. It's really useful. Also, it's a dark. There you go. Sphere Karibo, we want to protect our life points. Oftentimes, you will have a play where you just kind of sit on a Sphere Karibo and hope and pray that you don't die. So, pretty useful. Then we have Thunder Dragon Duo. This one, you banish a light and a dark, and then you summon it onto the field, and if it destroys a monster by battle, you can banish a card from the graveyard to add a Thunder Dragon from your deck to your hand, and during your opponent's end phase, you can target one of your banished monster or banished cards and place it on the top or bottom of the deck. So, you could even recycle something like your spells, right? If you banish a Mystical Space Typhoon, you could then put it onto the top or bottom of the deck if need be, right? Pretty useful. Roar, discard to add a Thunder Dragon that is in a Thunder Dragon card that is banished or in the grave, or if it's sent from the field or if it's sent from the field or banished, you can special summon a Thunder Dragon monster that can be special summoned. So really useful. Mostly gonna try to banish it. Its first effect is kind of good. You can get it into the grave, which is a dark, and then you can get like a hawk or, you know, whatever it may be. Thunder Dragon. You discard it to add up to 2 Thunder Dragons from the deck to the hand. You will never be actually adding 2. You will only be adding 1. Why? Because you can do it twice. So you could discard the Thunder Dragon to add a Thunder Dragon, then click no, and then you discard the second Thunder Dragon to add the third Thunder Dragon. Now you've got 2 lights in the grave, which is really, really useful. Battling Boxer Veil, pretty self-explanatory. You protect yourself. Aloof Lupine. Aloof Lupine is insane. When it's normal summoned, cost, you banish from the hand. Then the effect is to banish a monster from the deck, which means even if the opponent is choosing to negate your effect, you're still going to get at least 1 banish off. Which means if you have something like a Dark or a Roar, you're still going to get those effects because they've been banished, right? So Really, really useful. Plus, if it's destroyed, you get one of your banished cards back to the hand. Really fun. Then we have Mystical Space Typhoon. You really actually only need one of this. And we're not going to be playing Cosmic Cyclone because you need all the life points you can get. And it kind of conflicts with Battling Boxer Veil. So, there's that. Mystical Space Typhoon, pretty self-explanatory. You just get rid of a back row. Gold Sark. You banish a card, and then eventually you'll get it back. But most of the time, you're not going to be getting it back. It's mostly used to activate one of these 3 effects, right? Sometimes you won't have a target for that, and then it's good to banish something like a Levianeer or a Melody of the Awakening Dragon, or heck, even a Thunder Dragon. I've banished Thunder Dragons to get it back with Aurora in order to get things into the grave. It's pretty useful. This is a really good card. There's a reason it's banned in the TCG. Anyway, then we have Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Pretty self-explanatory. You get this guy with it by discarding a card. Alright, moving on to the extra deck. We have Heliopoli. Pop cards by tributing your own monsters. Non-targeting. Really good. Target a card, target a monster, return it to the hand from basically anywhere. Photon Strike, Bouncer, and Force Focus. This one, you negate something on the field. This one, you negate an effect that happens. This one is used if you're playing against something that activates in the grave or in the hand. This one is used if you're playing against stuff that activates on the field. That's basically the only difference. Andreas, Keeper of Armageddon. This card is probably the most useful card in the extra deck. It's a rank 5, and you detach an XZ material to destroy a face-up card your opponent controls. It's really threatening against a lot of the metagame, and it's 2600, pretty big. Malevolent Sin, pretty self-explanatory. And then, of course, last one is the Sky Prison. Gains 100 attack and defense for each monster in the graveyard, and there will be a lot of monsters in the graveyard most of the time. And then you can detach a material, and then this card, until the opponent's end phase, cannot be destroyed by card effects, and neither player can special summon from the graveyards. Even if the card leaves the field, just no player can special summon from the graves. Really, really useful. Anyway, let's move on to the replays, show you how this deck works. Alright guys, here we are up against Kite Tenjo, which... Photons, let's go. And we get to go second, which means we are going to have to go through multiple banishes, which, with this hand, pretty difficult. Now, I was playing Vajra, and here's why. It's a light that can protect you. That's basically it. However, the problem is that it doesn't do quite enough. Yes, it can special summon itself to basically protect you for an attack, but oftentimes that's not enough. In this metagame, a 1900 defense monster just isn't enough. And yes, it's a light, but honestly, having Battling Boxer Veil is just better. So, anyway, I was testing that out, didn't work. So, overall, this hand is pretty bad, because we can't really do anything. At least at the moment. We could kind of do things. We might be able to get like an Aloof Lupine off in order to banish, to search something, or to special summon something. But overall, it's not really too great. We have pretty mediocre protection, because this specifically says if your opponent, if the opponent's monster declares a direct attack. And we're going up against triple back row, which makes it even worse. But we ended up drawing Thunder Dragon, and you will see why Thunder Dragon is so great here. Thunder Dragon into Thunder Dragon into Thunder Dragon. Ooh, so nice. Now we can just discard a Dark with our Melody of the Awakening Dragon in order to grab up 2, well, Chaos Dragon Levianeers. And then we go into Chaos Dragon Levianeer, we get a pop 2 without targeting, so they're going to flip up Photon Stream of Destruction, which banishes our monster, which is sad. But overall, we are able to wipe their field. Then we go into our Aloof Lupine. And then we're going to banish this Thunder Dragon from the hand and a Dark from the deck. And then we're going to grab ourselves a Hawk. We are going to special summon the Thunder Dragon Dark. And then we are going to swing it in for almost lethal, but not quite. He ends up drawing a monster right off the top. And then we are able to just tribute over this Thunder Dragon Dark. And since it was sent from the field to the graveyard, it gets its effect. We are going to go for Roar. Then we are going to go for Hawk to special summon the Thunder Dragon. The reason we don't special summon from the graveyard is because we have Dark Light, which is enough for a Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Plus, now we can go into a level 5 rank, a rank 5 XZ. So we go for Armageddon. Armageddon allows us to pop that face-up monster, and then we are going to banish 3 in order to pop the 2 back row that were remaining. And there were delays, which is why I went and decided to pop the back row, and it ended up not mattering. We were able to kill him even with it, because he had a photon trident. So there's that. Anyway, next replay. Alright, here we are up against my Valentine, and you know what that means? Harpies. You love to see it. Anyway, we get to go second again, I believe. I don't know. Going second definitely helps because drawing that extra card, really helpful. However, they just end their turn, and I just activate Dark that was in hand. And then I have no other plays. This hand is really terrible, so I draw a card, and then I end my turn. And you might be thinking, well, why didn't you activate Dark? I didn't want to. There was no reason to activate it, like at all. Doesn't matter if I activate it on my turn or my opponent's turn. I'm not doing anything with it. And I figured, I might be able to do something with Melody, and then I was like, oh wait, no, I can't. So I just decided to not do anything. Anyway, they were going to summon their Oracle. We're going to activate our dragon just to get it into the graveyard. They're going to go for a level 8 Synchro into Cyber/Harpy Lady, and we're going to let them get an attack off, even though I have double Sphere Karibo. Reason being, our skill's pretty useful, and Allure by Darkness is going to activate. So we are going to get ourselves that sweet, sweet Allure of Darkness. But first, we're going to take out that back row. That back row could be anything, and I wanted to take care of it as soon as possible. So we're going to Mystical Space Typhoon, because it was in our hand, and then we are going to activate this Allured by Darkness, draw 2, and get another card off of Dark, which we had in hand. Because, you know, we searched it, kind of. Anyway, so now we get even more advantage. We're going to activate the effect of Hawk in order to special summon itself. Or, sorry, not special summon itself, but special summon the Dark. And then we are going to banish 3 for Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. Now, I could have actually attacked in here and gotten 400 damage instead of popping it. But all in all, that didn't really matter. And I did actually... I think I missed lethal here. I think if I had played it different, I would have been able to get the Roar onto the field while also being able to get a Dark onto the field. But I don't know if that is entirely correct. So don't quote me on that. I don't think I could have had lethal here. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I did. Anyway, they're going to activate Hysteric Signs to grab themselves up an Elegant Egotist. Then they were going to Lightning Vortex us. And we're going to get Dark in order to grab up the Hawk. And then they're going to end. Great, fantastic. We draw into a Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, which is pretty funny because we already had the way to search it, which means that draw is basically dead. Anyway, we're going to grab up the last Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. We are going to banish 3 Darks. We are not going to activate the effect because right now I have lethal if I don't activate the effect. We're going to activate the other 2 effects, though, in order to search and special summon. So we're going to search out that Thunder Dragon duo while also special summoning the only other Thunder Dragon that we had, which was the OG Thunder Dragon. So we're going to swing in, and they drew, let it be known, they had 2 limited to 2 cards, Treacherous and Kiteroid, and they saw both of them. That's all. Unsearchable, had them both. So, there you go. They are going to draw off the top a Perfumer, and they're going to activate Perfumer. They're going to go into the Harpy's Feather Rest. They had the 3rd Elegant Egotist and a 3rd... No, just oh, no, I'm stupid. They only had the 2 Elegant Egotist. I'm just bad. Anyway, they're going to go into their Cyber Harpy / Lady and go into the Cyber / Harpy Lady, and then they're going to go for Harpy's Feather Rest. And here is where they make a massive mistake. They should have returned the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. I mean, both cards, both the Armageddon as well as Chaos Dragon Legionnaire are a threat. Chaos Dragon Legionnaire can just beat over the Harpy / or Cyber / Harpy Lady, while the Armageddon can just pop it. So there's that. But the reason you shouldn't return the Armageddon is because it has materials that I can utilize. So they're going to return that. What a foolish mistake. And then they are going to activate Oracle to grab a card back and set a card. Now, we don't know what that set card is, but we do know the Elegant Egotist is in hand. And all we have to do is blow up their field, basically. So we're going to banish 3 in order to go for that Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. We're going to activate Hawk because we ended up drawing a Veil, which is dead. And then we were also going to activate our Dark. So we're going to return the Veil to add another card, and hey, look, it's a Roar. Pretty useful. We're going to activate Roar to get ourselves a Thunder Dragon. Why are we getting ourselves a Thunder Dragon? This is why, because we can now discard the Thunder Dragon to get the Thunder Dragon, and then discard the Thunder Dragon to get a Thunder Dragon. How happy are we? And then we are going to go into a rank 8 Erratic Son of the Heliopoli. Dragon Overlord of the Heliopoli. And you might be wondering, well, why didn't we pop the Hysteric Sign? Why? Because it has an effect that happens when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard. So, we're not going to do that. Anyway, we're going to pop this Oracle, and then we are going to summon ourselves the Thunder Dragon Duo, and they realize they have made a mistake. And they lose. Harpies! Yay! So, what do I think of this deck? Well, first of all, I think it is a pretty fun deck due to the fact that there are a lot of different things that you can go into. There are a lot of different plays. It does take some thought, at the very least, to actually utilize this deck to its fullest. But also, it's probably the best deck in the format at the moment. I think it has the highest highs. While it may not be very consistent, I don't think that there is a deck that it just straight up loses to. Resonator doesn't lose, or doesn't beat it straight up. Harpies doesn't beat it. Water XZ kind of does pretty good against it. The problem is that there are a lot of ways to play around Water XZ. So there's that. I mean, there are basically nothing that really beats it straight up. Kind of Cyber Dragons do good, but not particularly. So, anyway, it's the best deck. The biggest problem is its consistency, and a lot of people are playing things like Charge of the Light Brigade to add a little bit more consistency, but I think it actually ends up just breaking me more often because, well, yeah, you may just end up with like a random Lightsworn in your hand, and then you just summon it, and you're like, well, now I'm sad. So I feel like just having more traps to add in, or hand traps, I should say, to add in more protection is pretty good. I genuinely think if you are going into the KCGT, Thunder Dragons is a great deck to play. There you go. Hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.